Hi, this video was inspired by a comment made by Shunner. He was mentioning a recent actual play. Please check it out in the description of this video. He said something that made me think about a particular aspect of that actual play that I didn't realize. He didn't mention that specifically, but he basically said that he has seen other decent actual plays with some edits and cuts, that is, they add graphics and sounds and all of that. But I just noticed that in our actual play, we didn't edit out or cut anything related to the game mechanics. The mentioning of the life points and such. So it got me thinking, as long as there is roleplay, the mechanics will slip through the cracks. As long as you are focused on actually getting immersed, describing your character's actions, visualizing things, living the moment, rather experiencing the adventure, the scenario, the mechanics are going to be unnoticeable. This became more obvious because when I was showing my video to my relatives and friends, not one of them was like, how does that work? How does combat work? What are life points? What they were never like, they had everything clear because of the roleplay. It was very clear when it comes to the things that were proceeding during the course of the adventure, the dungeon crawl. So I just realized that as long as there is roleplay, the mechanics of a game, of the system, will simply go unnoticeable. They will become almost invisible. I mentioned this to Shanner that perhaps when we are done with that campaign, I would like to try something else. Not that, oh yes, C4 Crispy and Full Metal State you're going to be playing, and no. What I mean is that I am going to have another, like an interest gauge after that campaign. Hopefully we will get to finish the campaign, but if we have to stop it, that's okay, but hopefully we will finish it because it's an awesome sandbox fantasy campaign. But yes, after I am done with that, or who knows, maybe I can work some magic in my schedule, who knows. Right now I am going to mention a little project that I have in mind, but maybe after that I will be able to run other systems to give like an example on how the mechanics also slip through the cracks. Even if you have to say something like, make a dexterity roll or make an attack roll, I've got this. And then you describe what happens, the actions, the injuries, the success, the failures of the actions, because that's how we handled things with the Quick and Classic TTRPG actual play. We basically just, they describe their actions, I made the roll based on their descriptions, adding the abilities and depending on the bonuses or penalties, describing what happens. It's also seamless. I have mentioned this in another video, like I said, I think it was titled Covering the Sims. The mechanics of the game become like, they pass to a second plane or second level, giving priority to the story that is being produced because of the interactions of the characters with the game world. So that's something to think about, right? When you are playing your favorite tabletop RPG, make sure that there is roleplay, and therefore the mechanics are going to work almost unnoticed. They are going to be a background thing. Now, about my upcoming project, this is a very loose idea, but thanks to Rick for introducing me to StreamYard, I am using it a bit more frequently. So I am thinking about carrying out some interviews. I have already contacted 3 people. Sadly, one of them won't be able to make it. As I understand it, that person has a very busy lifestyle. We're talking a job that you sleep for 1 hour, you wake up and you work for 2 hours, you go to sleep, maybe you get to sleep an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you have to wake up and so it's a very busy lifestyle. I understand why that person couldn't get the chance to participate, but I have 2 other like potential candidates. I sent the information, but I left it quite loosely, like, oh, if you're interested in this interview, contact me or whatever. So if they don't contact me, well, there is no interest, or maybe they are busy with something else. But one of those two candidates, this guy is very famous, and I would say, just from my perception of him, like a general idea, I think he's a pretty cool guy. A pretty cool guy. Probably a lot of you know about him. There are several interviews here in YouTube, but I haven't seen an interview. Maybe I haven't searched effectively enough, but I haven't seen an interview where a role player, a tabletop RPG player such as me, interviews that guy. He's going to be a surprise, because if we get that gentleman in this channel, I think there is a lot of potential when it comes to interviewing him. I have noticed in other interviews, because of time limitations and such, that sometimes he wants to talk a lot. He has so much to share, and they kind of like interrupt him, but because of time or whatever, like, oh yeah, but we want to talk about this other thing, or sorry to interrupt. But I really want to let him talk and talk and talk as much as he wants. I think as he wants. I think there is a lot to learn from his insights, especially related to his field of expertise, how it connects to tabletop role-playing games, because it has a lot to do with role-playing games, especially one of the more famous tabletop RPGs in existence. You're kind of like getting the idea. Hopefully he will be interested in this interview idea. If not, well, you can always try, right? It's better to try and to fail. Otherwise you're like, oh, if only I had tried. No, let's try it. Well, hopefully, like I said, this idea will flourish or come to fruition. And remember, as long as there is roleplay, you can see the mechanics slip through the cracks and the game goes on. In some very complex systems, now that I think to every session that I have ever run throughout my life, well, at the moment I started to understand how to actually play a tabletop RPG, the mechanics always seem to slip. They become unnoticeable. At least, yes, I'll let you be the judges of that if I actually run that actual play. So once again, thank you for watching my videos. Thank you to Shoner for that comment. If you have any other questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you and see you later.